turn to days. Don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
.40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. .40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Xfinity Superspeedway Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We've got another race, the fifth of this season, in store for you tonight. It'll be 75 laps at Talladega Superspeedway. You got myself, Boomer Logan, calling the shots alongside Brandon Briggs up in the booth here tonight. Brandon, what you looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, boom. Excited to come here to Talladega tonight. Wider track. It's going to give some drivers a little bit more chance of opportunity tonight compared to the couple racetracks we've been to, along with Daytona and Atlanta, real narrow tracks. And giving these drivers a little bit more opportunity to make a little bit more chaos for us. These drivers are already getting to the grid, and we're getting ready to get going.
Yeah, indeed. The got going a little late with the broadcast tonight, but so we've already completed the qualifying session, and you can see the cars taken to the grid. And if you know them already, you know the order they're in. But Charles Johnson in that number 9 in that Hydro Flask Chevrolet is going to take that pole position. Jack Walls in the Delaware 83 to his outside. They'll be both on that front starting row. It is the Gabe Butler and Cody Nagel's show, as Cody has won the first two races of the season, and Gabe Butler has now won the last two. So they are going to start side by side and try to see what they can do to be the first one to 3 wins this season. Everett Lane, their teammate behind Gabe Butler for the Bootknockers, is going to be there inside of row number 3. Dean Wilkinson for TW Motorsports outside of row 3. A couple more Bootknocker drivers lined up nose to tail in the inside lane. Dude Conrad there in the 7th starting position, and then to his outside another teammate, Eric Laurie, in the 071. Your top 10 is going to be rounded out by Bob Fitzgerald and Todd Merkel coming back to the series after a couple weeks off. So Todd's back in there in that 5th starting row. And we got Doug Webb and Maxwell Caldwell sharing row number 6 together. And then Joshua Highbaugh in the 101 machine is going to be inside of Gary Huffines to start out for tonight. Robert Amaral, top 15 starting position for himself, and Dale Rapp in the 52 to his outside. Then we've got Justin Davis and Anthony Lane side by side on row number 9. Hayden Davis, the cousin behind Justin, there in the 19th position. Thomas Holder in the 11. Last car in on time, and then we've got Guy Brooks, Jim Brooks, and David Fashholtz, who are going to be electing to not take a qualifying time tonight and getting ready for this race down the back stretch. Long trip back to the start-finish line, but lights are out on the pace car, and we're just about ready to go here, Brandon.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there. It's really been Gabe and Cody so far this season, getting ahead of it, conquering some wins, and Talladega's a perfect track for somebody to come up and interrupt that. And I think here we've seen with these two guys, they're two of the most aggressive drivers when it comes to making their moves or going when they need to. So I assume some guys have got to watch what they've done, and spoke with Justin Davis tonight. He said the same thing, another track where you can be a little bit more aggressive, and these guys are definitely going to have to be that if they're going to knock these two off.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've been the class of the field so far this season, but definitely a lot of names out there that have the opportunity to try and win a race here tonight. Obviously, it is a lot wider, it is a lot longer, obviously not as big as iRacing Superspeedway, but it is one of our bread and butters, and we are just about ready to go as they're going to roll through the restart zone. The green flag is in the air for Charles Johnson and the rest of the field here on Sunday nights.
Yeah, good start here for the 9 of Charles Johnson. Only ran in a handful of races this season also, but bouncing back here tonight, starting on the point right there in front of the 88 of Gabe Butler and Everett Lane. That's some guys you want to be leading around here if you want to start this race, Boom.
Inside lane got a pretty good jump as the 9 and the 88 get out to a lead there. Now down the back straightaway, we'll see what push the 83 can get and see who's going to be able to come back and lead that first lap of the race. Again, 75 laps will be the scheduled distance for tonight's race. 75 trips around this 2.66 miles superspeedway.
Yeah, the guy I'm really going to watch tonight is running in that 8 car of Duke Conrad. Only ran 3 races this year, but he's in the top 10, I believe it was, in points, having a really, really good start to his season. Had some really good runs. I expect him to maybe get in a position late in this race to get his first win under his belt. Is also on top of it, Boom, these guys got a race within a race tonight, the money lap. lap 31, so we're going to see a little bit more aggression early in this race.
Yeah, lap 31, that payout for leading that lap, the end of that lap, so we'll pay attention to that as that gets closer here. But for now, Jack Walls grabs that bonus point for leading that first lap with a good push from Cody Nagels down the front straightaway and through the tri-oval as they try to see what they can do to get clear. Single filed out a little bit behind, probably about the top 10 or so. A couple cars working in that high lane together, but for the most part, everyone in about the top 10 really has just kind of stayed exactly where they started there. And Justin Davis and Thomas Holder are making moves to join that outside lane. But other than that, nobody's really climbing forward and nobody's really falling either. So pretty status quo for your starting positions within the top 10. Actually, everybody in the top 11 right now currently in the spot that they started. So not a lot of movement early on in this one.
Yeah, I think these guys are just, second time here, but you know how iRacing is. It updates and changes a little bit of things. I think these guys are just getting back used to the car. We got a long, long race ahead of us, and really, I would like to experiment early in this race. How hard can you push somebody? Or how long does it take for your car to cool down? And maybe that's some of what these drivers are doing here early, just figuring out, how their car is going to react and how they can handle push, or who wants to be the pushers. We can see these guys really starting to move around a little bit, and a little bit of a blink there by the 16, but all good to go for the 83 on the outside as he continues to lead.
Yeah, getting good pushes at that start-finish line. Obviously, you always got to mention the uniqueness of Talladega, and that the start-finish line is not in the center of the tri-oval. It is in the short chute between the tri-oval and turns 1 and 2. And it's kind of crazy to think just the differences in some of the finishes you might have had at Daytona or at Talladega, vice versa, with that start-finish line being, a couple 100 feet, maybe over 1,000 feet different. It's definitely a big difference in who generates those runs and who is going to be in the lead. So obviously a little bit of a uniqueness to Talladega here, and a lot of fun to keep an eye on. Obviously you see through the tri-oval, the 83 gets a really good run, but through the corners it's usually the 9 of Charles Johnson. And actually, as we say that, Charles Johnson's going to get a lap led there and get a bonus point for himself on the bottom, as we are working on lap number 5 already.
Yeah, Boom, I think you nailed it. Daytona and Talladega, a little bit similar size. Talladega just a little bit bigger, but you nailed it. When you make your run, here at Talladega, you make it really coming out of 4, coming to the tri-oval. Daytona, you're maybe making it going into 3 or something like that. So a little bit changes when you decide to make your move. So I like Talladega a little bit more. It gives you that chance to really come out of the corner and get a really good run. So Gabe Butler going to the outside, gonna try to lead the outside of this lane and get a lap led.
Yeah, the 88 trying to do what he can to grab that bonus point for himself. And it was interesting, you did mention already, Brandon, just some of the temperatures and making sure that those cars are cool enough when they're pushing. And 88 actually gets ahead to the lead, ahead of the 9 now in front of, or with the push from the 83. And it's interesting to note, since the last iRacing update, these Xfinity cars especially have changed as far as how quickly they do get hot, and you can't push nearly as much as you used to. So it's obviously Talladega is probably one of the easier tracks to go to, with probably one of the largest corner arc or radius of the corners, so it's easier to hold a pretty steady wheel, steady line, but you're still going to see, even if there isn't as much of people coming off of the bottom like you might see at Atlanta or iRacing Superspeedway, you'll still see those cars like they're doing, peeking a headlight out, peeking half of a grill out, just trying to see what they can do to get some clean air on the nose of these Xfinity Series cars.
Yeah, and when the difference, I feel like Talladega, I feel like everybody, yeah, it's bigger, it's faster, but I feel like people are more calm here. If there's a mistake that happens, it's easier to correct compared to Atlanta or an iRacing. You make a mistake there, it can be very crucial. Here, you can move that half a line and the guy maybe not run over you behind you. So, I think that's another thing that comes into this. So we know when the temperatures, maybe that's the only thing you're worried about a little bit earlier in this race, compared to, is the guy next to me going to hold a steady line when we get 10 laps in, or when his tires start to wear. So I think you're a little bit more comfortable here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a comfortability with. I mean, we've been going to this track for years and years in the Super Speedway series, so definitely, kind of that bread and butter as we mentioned at the top of the show. But I know we got a couple drivers already chiming in. I know there's a couple others out there watching too, so appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on a Sunday night. And Brandon, I found out today is actually National Ice Cream Day, so that to me begs the question: what's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I think sherbet. I'm a sherbet ice cream
Sherbet,
type
okay.
of guy.
All right, going
Yep.
sherbet instead of traditional ice cream. I like it. Is any flavors tickle your fancy?
No, just what is it? The regular old orange or
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the wife brings home. You can't complain if there's ice cream in front of you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's always good. It's fun. I know. Obviously, vanilla is always good to have in the freezer, but I'm more of either a mint chocolate chip or like a cookie dough or like a birthday cake with like frosting and sprinkles and stuff like that. I'm all for that kind of stuff. But ice cream's always good, so I figured throw that in here, have a little fun on a Sunday night.
Yeah, it's definitely making me want to head to a commercial break and go get a bowl of ice cream. That's definitely for sure. But on the racetrack, the 88 of Gabe Butler, he's in a familiar spot here as he's leading the bottom of this lane. Got a bunch of teammates right there with him, controlling that inside lane. And I don't know if you caught it or not tonight, how many laps these guys are going to have on fuel, but average, I think they've been somewhere right around the early 20s. So I believe we're about halfway from maybe our first pit stop tonight, Boom.
Yeah, that sounds about right from what we've been hearing. But yeah, as you mentioned, there are at least 3 of those Team Bootnaka cars lined up nose to tail in that inside lane. Then you go back to the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald there as well, and then the 071 of Eric Laurie in the high lane. But yeah, definitely makes it easier when you can have those teammates working together. In the high side, the 9 is actually going to jump to the bottom now, but a couple drivers, not necessarily teammates, that are lined up nose to tail. Obviously, you got Roswell Motorsports, Jack Walls up there. You got the 16 of Cody Nagels running for 1320 Enterprises, and then you've got TW Motorsports, Dean Wilkinson behind them, and the 071 of Eric Laurie. So that lane is a little less organized as far as teammates go, but the inside, obviously, with the lead to Charles Johnson at the moment, again for TW Motorsports as well, and he is leading all those Bootnaka cars who have done so much to try and control the finishes of these races, and obviously see Gabe Butler making a move there to the high side, try and take the lead back over here.
Yeah, speaking of teammates, Cody Nagels, Maxwell Caldwell, and Todd Merkel working together, and that's what I'd been keeping my eye on was that 94. If he was gonna, as this run went on, if he was gonna maybe make some little bit of moves to get up there around the 2 and the 16 and them guys. Right now he's running back there, and I believe it's 16th or 17th. So some guys not really just ready to make that move just yet.
Yeah, definitely. Still early on, a couple drivers at the front, but I mean, for the most part, there really hasn't been a lot of changes. Justin Davis and Thomas Holder kind of came up from the back and kind of mixed themselves up in the mid part of this group here of 2 wide cars after starting towards the back, so they're up 7 and 8 positions respectively. But for now, not a lot of movement within the top 10 or so, and a couple guys just kind of hanging out at the back, just trying to see what they can do to ride it out and get some fuel saved here before we get to that first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, and I don't mind that move, just riding around back there in the back. The only thing that just concerns me is that we just heard so many drivers say this year. I wish I would have been more aggressive, or I wish I wouldn't have rode around, or I took some of the drivers for granted on what they were gonna do, or maybe they thought it was gonna be easier to get back up there. So as this race goes on and this track's wider, and we know how hard it is to have a caution because of the apron and the wideness of the track, and that's just the only thing that scares me early on in this race, Boom, as we come to this first caution, if we do have it under green, is getting separated from that front pack.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing for races that do stay green flag is trying to make sure that you can stay with this pack. And we always try to highlight it, but there's a big difference between where Jim Brooks and Gael Brooks are running there at the back of this pack, about 1.7 seconds away from our leaders as you see them come down the short chute into the tri-oval here off of turn 4. But there's a big gap there, and it's really easy. I know we talk about it so much here because it's such a big part of super speedway racing, but that execution of getting down pit road, getting off and on pit road, and making sure that you are with that lead pack and you stick with them all race long.
Yeah, and I think you definitely want to stick with this lead pack because we see a lot of Bootnaka affiliates that's ran with those guys in this top 10. And when you get all those guys up there like we see, it's hard to get around them. As we're going to see one go around in the back here, as we're going to, looks like maybe have our first caution of the night.
Yellow flag is out indeed, and we are going to try and figure out what happened here and where this all started. Looks like Dub Webb, potentially Bob Fitzgerald involved. And we'll grab a replay here for you.
Yeah, I seen a brown car. It looked like he took a left, and that's never good when you see right there. Yep, never good when you're heading down the backstretch.
Yeah, Bob Fitzgerald, nowhere to go. 714 to Doug Webb, a little bit of incident there for him, nowhere to go as well. Yeah, just, bit of a unfortunate event down the back straightaway. We'll see if we can get a good view of it and come back to the point of caution here. And you see the 714 is already sliding, so we're just going to rewind that just a little bit here and get you a good view of what happened here in that outside lane. Obviously, most of it starting with what looks like obviously the 11. So we'll try to grab a view here, maybe in the outside lane, see if we can understand what happened. Oh yeah, you see big checkup in that outside lane, and then as that happens, 19 gets into the back of the 25. That sends the 11 down into the 08, and then from there it's just kind of a chain reaction. So there's a big checkup at the front of that pack, and unfortunately that did some damage to the 25, the 11. The 19 is going to maybe get a little bit of damage there. 77 also collecting some damage here. And the 714, blown motor for him. He had to tow back to pit road. So I think the 77 can make it back. I think everybody else has been able to make it back, but definitely actually the 77 and the 714 are still towing to pit road. So they're going to have some extensive damage to repair. I think they do have the 2 fast repairs, which they will have to burn here early on. But Charles Johnson is going to lead the field down pit road, and we will see live pit stops for the first time tonight.
Yeah, boom. I think we just seen a product of the outside lane checking up and that chain reaction, and then just happened to be that's where it got here. But Everett Lane is going to make one heck of an effort to beat Charles Johnson there off of pit road. Wow, what a run there by the 24.
Yeah, 24 is going to come off of pit road first. Dean Wilkinson, you saw roll through pit road, didn't take stop, so he's going to pit the second time and get fuel. That's pretty standard. If you don't come down the first time and you come down the second time, you will get a penalty. So that's why the 55 chose to do it that way. So he will probably lose some of this track position, but Everett Lane should be able to hold on to what he has here. And everybody in the top 13, obviously Dean Wilkinson not getting service yet, but everybody else in the top 13 looks like they only took fuel or potentially right side tires. You got to go all the way back to David Fashholtz involved in that first yellow to find the first driver to take 4 tires and fuel, and everybody behind him either did that or had some damage to repair and spent more time on pit road.
Yeah, boom. I was a fan. If it's under yellow, always to take 4 tires. You don't ever know when you're going to get a yellow again. So get those tires when you can, especially in these Xfinity cars. You know, Talladega's a little bit more smooth, but can still wear on them. But we'll get this all straightened out and take a commercial break.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half feel like I'm afraid are the only things I can't change.
And as always, we appreciate Ranger Creative Concepts for coming on board this season. Not here tonight, but Frank Ranger, always appreciated here in the league, been a long-time member, and appreciate them promoting their business through the league and the broadcast here, so be sure to give them a shout. They got some really, really cool merch that you got to see there in their commercial for all sorts of stuff and graphic design that they can do and print and put on water bottles and all sorts of tumblers, and there's just all sorts of cool stuff that they can get there. They also are providing the trophies for each champion at the end of the season, any season here at Area 51, so appreciate their continued support for the league as always, and really enjoy having them on board and getting to see all the cool stuff that they get to design there. So lap 17, it'll be 18 as the pace car dives onto pit road and we get rolling and get the restart going here. First restart of the night, the 24 of Everett Lane is going to be that control car you mentioned. Brandon getting out first on the pit cycle there with a really quick stop from his team. He's going to be up through the gearbox on the gas pedal and back under the green flag.
Yeah, very good start there by both lanes there. The 9 and the 8 tucked together pretty good. The 24 and the 88, then two teammates there. You know, they're going to have a pretty good start there. The 24 going to get a little bit ahead, but spoke of it earlier, the 94, Maxwell Caldwell, after that pit stop, he's made his way up to the 8th position, trying to link up there with the guy he's working tonight with the 16, and then the 2 of Todd Merkel also right there. So guys starting to form up as these laps start to click off.
Yeah, a couple Bootnakas at the front there, the 28, the 24, the 88, excuse me. Then you get the 9 of Charles Johnson, Dude Conrad there on the outside, then Todd Merkel there in that famous lime green, key lime green, whatever you want to call it, that number 2 for Merkel. Enterprises there, and the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell, 4th car in line behind the 83 of Jack Walls and 88 of Gabe Butler and Lane, as we mentioned. Ooh,
Yeah, I wanna. Yeah. Oh, yep. Getting a little tight there. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Boom. But I want to bounce back to Frank with the trophies, and I want to thank him as a broadcaster because that trophy. I've been a driver. When you get a trophy involved, it amps up the racing a little bit. So as a broadcaster, I just wanted to bounce back and tell Frank that I appreciated giving a little bit more spark to race for.
Yeah, absolutely. There's, I mean, we've got a lot of really cool partners here. Obviously, most of these groups that help sponsor us are, members of the league. Obviously, we've got 40 Racewear, Jim Herrick, owner there, 40racewear.com, everything that they do in the Tuesday night series, especially. And all the sim racing apparel that they have, and obviously Ranger Creative Concepts there with all the stuff that they do on the graphic design side of things, and all the contributions to the league, and obviously discounts for 40racewear.com, and all the help from Ranger Creative Concepts. It's really fun, and we're really appreciative for those guys to come in and support us the way that they do, and support the league as much as they have over the years.
Yeah, and you don't think you need those 4D Racewear gloves until you just go through whatever it just went through in turn 2. Gabe gave his teammate a little bit of a kiss going through the corner, hit the apron just a little bit, was able to save it. You can see the 88 was running hard. He's got to get out of that outside line and cool that car off a little bit. But it just shows these guys, they got 10 laps to go until the money lap. Gabe's been paid before already. He's looking for maybe a little bit something to pay for some more Guinness.
Yeah, we see the 55 and the 11 trying to work that third lane already further on back, but right now you mentioned the 24 and the 88. They are controlling both lanes at the moment here, trying to see what they can do in 10 laps time, or just over 10 laps time as we get back to the stripe and get to, again, that bonus lap, the bonus money for leading the 31st lap of the race. The 88's going to get back down ahead of Lane And Cody Nagels will now assume the lead there to the outside.
Yeah, the 16 making a big move here as we see somebody. I thought we were going to see that outside, that third lane working with the 071 there. Is nope, we're gonna maybe see it a little bit farther back again, and why not try it? You know, nothing to lose really. You can make a good run up there. You are gonna need, I think, more than 2 cars to make it really work or be successful with it. But if these guys up here in these 2 lanes are gonna keep bouncing around and running like that, that's really gonna slow them lanes down, and you can make that progression and sneak up there and maybe sneak out 10 or 12 positions.
Yeah, definitely trying to do that is the 55 and the 11 there of Wilkinson and Holder. And they've made a decent amount of ground here as the 55 now in the top 10. Good push from Thomas Holder as well. A little bit of a check up there on the back straightaway as the 16 pushes the 88 out of turn 2 and gets him a little sideways, but no harm, no foul. They continue on down the back straightaway. So that checked up that line a little bit, which allowed the progress of the 55 and the 11. It looks like a few people want to try and jump up there, but no one else so far able to commit to that. Now, obviously, they're going to settle back down in to that middle line for just a second before they probably try and pop a nose back out there and see what they can do to generate a run and get that restarted there in that third lane.
Yeah, you can definitely tell these drivers are happy to be at Talladega. We brought it up at the beginning of the race. Way wider track than we've been to the last couple weeks. These drivers are able to push and push a little harder than they have been. And I would assume it's very exciting to be behind the wheel of one of these right now.
Yeah, lots of fun to drive these Xfinity Series cars. And definitely, big push for the 16 and the 24 there in the outside lane. The 88 and the 24 are still continuing to swap those positions on the front line, or the front of each line, but fortunately able to continue to take control of it as now Cody Nagels makes a move to the bottom, and the 24 tries to shut the door. He can't. Cody Nagels gets out to the lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, what a move there by the 16. And that's the aggression that you got to have. You got to be up there, not only to be leading the race, but a lot of times the leader is not involved in any of the chaos behind him. So you want to be that lead car just for that reason, and sometimes you got to make an aggressive move like that. No harm, no foul, just good racing. And now the 16 is going to have to hang on as the 88. We've seen it already this race. He's going to push you.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the difference in these tracks is obviously you can see they come through 3 wide very comfortably. You mentioned there how wide it is. Daytona is about 40 foot wide from the double yellow line to the outside wall. And Atlanta is as well, but obviously with Atlanta, there's a much tighter corner radius, so the turn obviously is tighter, so you're turning faster. Quicker, and it definitely makes a difference as far as that feeling of speed and not as much room to maneuver there. Now, obviously with Talladega, I think it's over 50 foot wide. I think it's even wider than that potentially, but a lot of space here, and you can see that third lane finally starting to form pretty well. The 55 is now even almost with the 8 of Dude Conrad. With the 55, the 11, and it looks like the 10 of Davis are going to be working that high line, seeing what they can do. About 5 laps time, we're going to pay out the money to the leader. They're trying to get up to that front and see what they can do to be the ones there.
Yeah, you know who Dean Wilkinson up there on that third lane, who he's wishing to see, and hopefully they're watching, and I really miss watching them race here with us, and that's the Groover brothers. Them fellas didn't care if it was lap 1 or lap 74s. We're going to have a little bit of contact. The 51's going to go around, and we're going to have our second caution of the night.
From 7th on back, they are wrecking, and still wrecking further on back. Big moment here for a lot of drivers. Let's see if we can break this down. So you see by there Jim Brooks in the 51 getting turned to the outside, and Dean Wilkinson in the 11 just nowhere to go, getting collected up in that. And then you'll see a lot of cars here as the 51 comes back down the track. The 52 is involved, and then you see as everyone's just kind of checking up, the 101 gets into the 51, and yeah, a lot of chaos continues to ensue from there. Does anybody else get through this unscathed? The 11 and the 10 sliding around, the 51 still making contact. And you see the lanes just kind of closing up for the 81 of Anthony Lane. And just not enough space for them to get through. Bob Fitzgerald there gets involved. I think the only one at the tail end of that was not involved was maybe Doug Webb. Let's go back and we'll rewind it for you, see if we can see kind of where this all started and understand how this happened. And we'll focus on Jim Brooks here. Grab a different camera angle if we can. See if we can understand exactly what happens here.
Yeah, it looks like
Oh,
maybe a push going wrong in the middle there
yep.
with the two and whoever was behind the two there, and then Jim Brooks is just unfortunately where the two bounces off to, and everybody else is along for the ride there. Boom.
Yeah, so the two of Todd Merkel there gets unscathed, I think, for the most part after the initial contact. But yeah, a push from the 071 of Eric Laurie didn't agree with the back bumper of that car, and that sends the 51 around and gives us our second caution of the night.
Yeah, the 52 was just nowhere to go and just takes one heck of a lick. Is these guys going to come down and top off with fuel? And if I'm not going to take tires or anything, this is the lap I'm going to do it. We don't know if we're going to be under caution for the money lap. We'll figure out when we get back from caution or from commercial.
So we see the 714 of Doug Webb. He is going to elect to not pit here and has taken the, will be taking a wave around, I believe, to get at least one lap back. I think he's 2 down at the moment. No, actually might be scored as 1 down. But now either way, he will be ahead of the leaders, and yeah, looks like he'll be tail end of the lead lap there if he doesn't pit. So everyone pitting at lap 27 there. Doug Webb last pitted on lap 14, and it actually looks like he's going to potentially come down this time and grab some fuel for that Toyota Supra, and he will. So he will remain 1 lap down behind our leaders here, will not get the wave around. Cody Nagels stays out, so does Jack Walls the second time around, and Charles Johnson, Hayden Davis, Todd Merkel, Jim Brooks all stay out there grabbing a fast repair to get those cars repaired and back up to the front. And Gabe Butler, Everett Lane, Duke Conrad, Eric Laurie, and a slew of others are going to come down pit road and grab some extra fuel here and try to stretch this out a little more.
Yeah, I think these guys are thinking maybe one more stop after this to get them to the end. So come in, get an extra lap or so, and I think they've all experienced this this season on Sunday night. We've went into overtime every single race, so definitely this little bit of extra fuel may not make sense now, but as the race goes on, they can maybe stay out an extra lap or two.
Yeah, definitely will help. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it is a decent amount of fuel, and you want to make sure you have enough to go the distance here. But the 16 of Cody Nagels is going to line up side by side with the 83 of Jack Walls. So Cody Nagels, it'll be his first time as the control car here for tonight on a restart. And lights are off on the pace car, so we'll go back green on lap 30. Then we'll complete that lap, and then we'll start lap 31, and that is the money lap if you remember from earlier. So we're going to have a 2-lap shootout here to get to the race leader at the end of lap 31 and grab that money. So it's going to be a green-white checkered for the money. Obviously we're going to stay green flag, but the leader in 2 laps after this restart is going to be taking home some cash for tonight, and Cody Nagels has put himself in a pretty good position there to be the one to do just that.
Yeah, Cody Nagel sitting in P1 right now, but I'm looking at a couple other guys. The 19 of Hayden Davis, rookie in the league this season, up there in that night in that Coors car right there, sitting second outside. Todd Merkel only ran in a handful of races. Hey, fellas, sneak something in and steal some money from these guys.
They're going to see what they can do here. Again, it'll be 2 laps to the money lap. Green flag is back out on the speedway. Cody Nagels is hard on the gas. Up to the gearboxes they go. Back up to speeds over 180 miles an hour here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, as these guys start to get back up to speed. One thing that really sparked these guys' interest, I would assume, is a couple of those guys made that third lane work. So if maybe you want to sneak back up there and try to steal a little bit and then hop back, this would be the time. You've seen some guys run that third lane, is that inside lane, and is really hauling.
5 cars still in the outside lane. A little bit of a break there further on back. They're going to come around to start lap 31. The 16 of Cody Nagels well ahead of the 83 of Jack Walls in the outside lane, as there's now a 2-car breakaway that allows a 9 to come up and cover, and he's going to try and make a run for this money here. It'll be 1 lap to that payout, so we'll see who's going to get this last lap led here, and it's going to be the 9 of Charles Johnson. The next lap at the start-finish line again pays out to the leader, and the 9 is going to take a really solid spot ahead of Cody Nagels here. Does anybody in the outside lane have enough to make a move? Obviously, the 16 and the 2 are sitting there with, I believe those guys are teammates. Yeah, so they're working together, and they should have an opportunity to jump to the high side just like they do there. They get clear of the 83, and now the 16 and the 2 are going to try to win this money.
Yeah, perfect execution by 2 guys working together, but I would assume they didn't. Yeah, right there, drop down immediately. Don't give that 9 and those guys a chance to run back under theirs. Woo, right there. You see that big hiccup right there as these guys had that good run and had to check up, but I think the 16 is going to get a good push to go ahead and take that money here.
Cody Nagels is going to come home victorious and grab the money for tonight for leading lap 31. The 81 gets a little bit of a bobble after pushing the 9, and no one else really able to generate a run after the 16 and the 2 make that move, and Cody's going to grab some money for tonight. The 9's going to jump back to the high side, and we will continue on working on lap number 32 at the moment.
Yeah, I think not. I understand if you're the 16 and those guys, yeah, you want to get a good chance to run the money, but I think that really was a good move for later in the race. They seen how to execute on the guy in front of them, and they can use that later in the race if need be. So, perfect execution there by 2 teammates working together tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and it looks like the third lane is actually starting to form just a little bit here. Jack Walls, Thomas Holder, Dude Conrad there, and making some pretty good progress there, up to about 7th there, actually 5th for the 83 of Jack Walls as they cross the stripe there, and no one else really wanting to come out to the high line just yet. The 9 and the 19 a little bit disconnected, the 16 and the 2 a little disconnected, but the run on the high side is fairly strong at the moment there, and you'll see the 83 is going to pull even with the 9 at least down the back straightaway. So that's one of the Roswell Motorsports entries in the 83, and then 2 of the Team Bunaka Esports drivers in the 11 and the 8 lined up behind them as the 16 pulls ahead into turns 3 and 4. And a little bit of a bobble there, 3 wide, but plenty of space to keep it straight. And that's going to break up a lot of momentum that we saw in that third lane.
Yeah, and before we had that last caution, I was mentioning the Groover brothers, and miss seeing those guys race here with us. They were 2 guys that would get up in that third lane, and anybody that went with them, they went to the front. They were really aggressive, but they weren't afraid to make a mistake. And when you're running that third lane, it's the longest way around the track, so you have to be aggressive. You got to be willing to stay on the guy in front of you's bumper to be able to hang with the 2 lanes below you, and that's just what we just haven't seen tonight so far from those guys. They can get about 3 or 4 car lengths back of the front, and then it really stalls out. You got to have the trust on the guy you're pushing, and then who also is in that third car also, so they don't run the pusher over. So if you want to make that third lane work, you got to have maybe a couple teammates and not be so afraid to be aggressive.
Yeah, so far we are just going to settle out double file for now, and pretty much all the pack is here. Doug Webb is 1 lap down. He is still in this pack here. And then didn't get a chance to mention it, but Guile Brooks was caught up in an incident. We'll actually see if we can figure out. Yeah, he is back out on track. He is quite a few laps down. I think about 13. Yep, 13 laps down for the 71 of Guile Brooks. So he's the only one that's not in this lead pack here, though. And the leaders should be able to pick him up and put him 14 laps down here pretty quickly. But didn't quite catch exactly what happened, but we saw did show that he had to jump to pit lane and unfortunately repair some damage. It looks like there. Spent about 14 minutes on pit road, so unfortunate end probably for the 71's night, but he stays out in the field, and we'll see if he can help any of his Roswell Motorsports teammates try to move forward. They've got a couple there up in the top 10, Jim Brooks being the highest runner right now. Jack Wells falls back a little bit there, but he is up there as well as the 16 of Cody Nagels and the 2 of Todd Merkel. The teammates working together. Had that great move to lead that bonus money lap, and now the 9 and the 19 are working together in that high lane, and from then it's been pretty quiet.
Yeah, tough break there for the 71, but definitely that's the greatest thing about Talladega is you can, even though when you're that many laps down, you can still get up and contribute to your team. And the 51 running good up there right now, and he would love to see the 71 get back with this pack, maybe for caution, or if they do catch him and give him some help here. As things I think are starting to cool down, we got to the middle point of the race. The drivers know what they got, and I think they understand that they're 1 pit stop away from the last one. So let's relax and let's get there and maybe stay a little calm.
Yeah, definitely calm, I would say. Obviously, we had a couple incidents, but most of them were just, not really anything wrong, just some pushes that, weren't comfortable for the car ahead, and I've had, just the 2 yellows so far, but for the most part, it's been pretty quiet in the pack there. I mean, obviously, there really haven't been too many aggressive moves. We've seen a couple big moves by the 16 to get to the lead, and other than that, I don't think anybody's really shown too much aggression there. As we'll see the 9 jump down to the bottom there, get that lap led, and continue on from the inside lane. Yeah, we are now we're at the halfway point of this one. So looking at the pit count, looks like everyone pit on that last caution around would have been lap 27 or 28. So we're getting probably about halfway through that fuel run here, and we'll see if these guys start to single file out here soon enough and try to make something happen and get that track position before those looming potential green flag pit stops, and see how it all shakes out from there.
Yeah, we're getting a little chaos back here in the mid part of the pack around the 55 back there. Boom, these guys are running 3 wide. It's amping up back here. Everett Lane trying to get that 3rd lane rolling there with Dean Wilkinson is I think the 51 and the 19 might be right there in the middle and gonna a little bit more of a checkup. I tell you, these guys back here, they're racing. Boom.
Yeah, the 24 has a good push from the 55 and the 8 of Dude Conrad. They can't quite get around the 51 or the 19 at the moment, but they're doing what they can, as the 19 and the 51 actually get a pretty good run down the back straightaway as well, and they are even with the 3rd place car in the inside lane of Todd Merkel.
Yeah, the 51, I just want to give a shout out to him, man. He's running really, really good tonight. We brought it up earlier. Not many teammates around him. He's been working there with the rookie, the 19 of Hayden Davis, sticking up front there, really keeping a good straight line and helping the rookie out. And now these guys, Cody Nagel's going to get up in front and lead that middle lane now.
As Everett Lane's going to get a really big push from the 55. He's going to go from the top floor to the basement, and he's going to make the move to the inside lane here. Try to control this race, as Dean Wilkinson's now going to try and get that push from Dude Conrad and see if they can do the same if the 19 and the 16 don't have that opportunity to do it first, and he does. 16 gets down. 55 and the 8 are clear. Are they going to jump down to the middle lane? They do, the 55 at least. And the 8 is going to have to fall back to the 11 there, and the 55 back to the 19 to try to continue to make their progress there in the middle and outside lanes.
Yeah, boom. This is why Talladega is my favorite track right here. These guys seen early, hey, we can get this third lane rocking early in this race. We can make a lot of progress. You seen the 24. He hopped up there, went straight to the front with the 55. Hey, that means Talladega, you're going to get full effect tonight. You're going to see some big moves from the top to the bottom and everywhere in between. We're a little bit over halfway now. It's going to start to heat up as the final pit stop's just right around the corner.
24 jumps to the bottom to take over that lead. Dean Wilkinson now with the help of the 19 as the third lane tries to continue to push forward. The 8 and the 11, two teammates lined up nose to tail. And they are actually Doug Webb, also part of Team Bootnaka here. So 3 of those guys in a row. And you go back to the 25 of, I believe that's Fash Holtz there for Silver Fox Racing. And, David Fash Holtz. Looking here. Oh, yeah, he's also a Bootnaka driver. So there's 3 Bootnaka drivers there, or 4 of them in a row in that high lane there. So, excuse me for misspeaking there, but yeah, Cody Nagels continues to lead. The 9 of Charles Johnson and Everett Lane and the 55 of Dean Wilkinson all really kind of swapping these positions here at the front, but doing the most work to really control this race. We've definitely seen some really good moves from the 16, from the 55, from the 9, the 24. All have been really strong front runners so far in this one, and it shows that they are, at that in those that top 4 spots, trying to do whatever they can to control this race and see what they can do to get back to the point here ahead of Cody Nagels.
Yeah, heck of a run the 9 and 55 had there. They're working together, and I think Charles could have dropped down to the bottom and got in front of Cody and took the lead, but chose to stay with his teammate and get some more runs. I like that move there by them two. Not, just so you can stay comfortable and have a comfortable pusher around you, so you can see the unselfishness of them teammates as the run goes on here. As we see the 071 should be able to jump right in with this pack and maybe get up there and give that 51 a little bit of help.
Yeah, we are going to pick up Gael Brooks here, it looks like. So he'll fall 14 laps down, but should be able to hang on to this lead pack, hopefully, and get a chance to just kind of ride it out. And, someone else that's doing the same is actually Gabe Butler here. He's just kind of hanging out in the back. That's definitely not something that we typically see from this 88. So he is potentially saving maybe a fast repair or something and just letting things kind of progress naturally ahead of him. But that 88 is towards the back of the pack as these guys are mixing it up now 3 wide still. And a couple of Team Bootnaka drivers in the outside lane, a couple TW Motorsports guys in the middle, and then a mixed bag, couple 13-20 Enterprise guys, the 16 and the 2, and then throw another Bootnaka and the 24 in the middle of them. And that's most of your top 10 at the moment. Wes, working on lap 44 to be 45 at the stripe. And at the conclusion of that lap, it'll be 30 laps to go, and we'll be getting closer to switching that ticker over from counting up to counting down. 25 laps to go, we'll start counting down and getting to the end of tonight's excitement.
Yeah, we seen the 88 on that last pit stop, came back down, topped off on fuel. Now he's running around back there. If it tells me anything, that this run is going to be really, really close on fuel. And I think Gabe is just making sure that he makes it all the way to the finish. And because in the 88, he's just not one of those drivers that just sit around and ride, especially when his teammates are up there running as hard as they are. And I think some of these guys are just maybe saving just a little bit.
Yeah, I think some at the front are definitely not pushing at all, but we saw a lot of guys, including the Team Bootnaka guys, come down at second lap under caution and get a little bit more fuel. So trying to see if they can probably stretch one less pit stop. I don't know if it'll be possible or not for those guys. But definitely a few in fuel save mode, but for the most part at the front there, it still seems pretty wide open. Obviously, the outside and middle lanes have had some good energy, and typically, if you do see a lot of fuel saving, you can see guys just absolutely drive straight to the front, and we're not quite seeing that. Obviously, you're seeing good runs, but nothing quite like a freight train. As the 16 is going to get ahead of the 9 here, the 24 and the 55, trying to improve their position in the middle lane.
Man, with that 19, I can only imagine what's going through his head. I've been a rookie in this league, in this race at Talladega around drivers like this. This is when you need them 4D race wear gloves, because you don't think about it when you're just setting up your rig, but when you get to racing, your hands start to sweat, and you got some of the greatest drivers around you. You don't want to make a mistake. They're going 3 wide, bouncing in and out. I just want to give my hats off to the 19. He's doing pretty good hanging in there with those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. A pretty good showing for the 19 for his rookie campaign here in 2025. His teammate and his cousin is a little bit further back, Justin Davis there in the 15th position, but they've been working pretty well together so far, and at 19's had some pretty good moves in the middle lane to try and keep that forward progress, forward momentum going, and it looks like we are starting to get a little strung out here. Maybe some single file action, maybe some green flag pit stops coming soon.
Yeah, definitely right around the corner, and I like the 19. You know, this is a track, like, you know, we brought up in the beginning of the broadcast. Some mistakes can happen, but you got more room for error, especially when these guys start to just run too wide or single file as it is. So I think that's good. Get up there, and you can't get no better if you're not up racing around these guys, learning from what they're doing, watching how they push, and seeing how they push. And you can really learn a lot just from sitting back and just being the third or fourth guy in line, or, you know, here he's the second guy in line, but you can really learn a lot if you sit back and watch what these guys do up here.
Yeah, there's definitely an art to how to draft and also keep your car cool and not let it overheat. And these guys are obviously doing it at a decently high level here with how much they run these super speedway style races here in the league. So it's really cool to see. It's a different kind of racecraft than you see, you know, at traditional, you know, versus traditional oval racing. And it's definitely one of the more fun and exciting, you know, highest, I guess, chaos levels that you can usually see within any form of stock car racing.
Yeah, it's definitely an art form to it, and I think the 16 and the 88 have shown that this year. As the 55, he's going to hit the apron maybe out of fuel, or maybe he could have overheated there.
Yeah, not sure. But we're hearing reports that these guys are going to actually be able to go about 25 laps. So 2 to 3 laps from now, that window should open. And you see, I mean, obviously a lot of the guys are already starting to get down to that inside lane. The 19 and the 8 are doing what they can to try and get to the lead so that they don't have to pit or fall further on back. Maxwell Caldwell, not in the greatest spot, being that last car in the outside lane, because if the 19 and the 8 are able to get clear or get down, then the 94 is just kind of a sitting duck waiting to find a hole to open up further on back. So definitely a valiant effort for the 19 and the 8 trying to move forward, and Maxwell Caldwell's going to do the smart thing, and he's actually going to jump down to the bottom there in front of the 101 of Joshua Highball.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that same boat with these pit stops right around the corner. You don't want to be left out on that outside lane, and you don't want to be the only people out on the track with just 2 cars. You will lose a ton of time. You will stay up to speed, but as we go under green, you want to pit with these guys. You lose that lead pack, and it can be very tough on the rest of your race, and then it causes less chance for a caution. So definitely have to execute this last pit stop as we have 25 to go, and like you brought up earlier, we're counting down instead of counting up.
Yep, a couple laps here to see who's going to come down pit road for what should be the first green flag pit cycle of the night. The 24 of Everett Lane has the push from Cody Nagels, and the 9 of Charles Johnson. It's Hayden Davis and Dude Conrad working that high side still, trying to improve their position, and we got a couple takers down pit road, the 11, and I think that's the 11, and the 25 of David Faschlitz are going to come down. Ooh, that's going to be a penalty for that 25 for an unsafe pit entry. So unfortunately, I think he's going to be held for at least 40 seconds. If he was speeding, that might be a double penalty even. So that's definitely unfortunate for the 25, but we'll keep an eye on this pack here and see if anybody else comes down and starts to answer that call. Now that the window is open, looks like everybody should be able to go to the end on fuel as they pit here.
Yeah, and an unfortunate break for the 25, but also another person that is mad, that 11, that was his partner to get back up to speed. Now the 11 is going to lose a ton of time with not having anybody to draft with. Is a good chunk of the field is going to peel off and come now as the 9's going to lock him up. Oh, he's got to be speeding. Holy Lanta.
That's going to be a penalty for the 9. The 10 goes around as he comes down on pit road, Justin Davis, and that's going to be a crew of about 10 or 12 cars, now led by Charles Johnson, Everett Lane, and Cody Nagels there as they make a little contact getting into their box, and that pushes the 24 long in his stall, and that is going to hurt Everett Lane quite a bit here. Hopefully he can hang on to the back of this pack, but down the back straightaway we see some of the 1320 Enterprise drivers and Jack Walls there for Roswell Motorsports. A couple Bootknocker guys stayed out and are currently leading. And we'll see if they come down pit road. Get a little extra security here coming down a little bit later than everybody else. Gabe Butler's going to be involved here. Gabe Butler's going to get a lot of positions here as he's going to lock him up, try to get down to pit road okay. And wow, what a pit entry for Gabe Butler. He probably passed pretty much every single one of those cars except for maybe Gael Brooks there coming down pit road. And yeah, that's incredible. So Charles Johnson did get a penalty. He is going to be held for 40 seconds. And we did also see David Fashholtz get held for 40 seconds as well for the unsafe pit entry as the leaders are on pit road at the moment here. We'll see Cody Nagels and Dude Conrad coming off of the short chute into the tri-oval here with a little bit of an advantage of everybody else. So you've got Hayden Davis, Dale Rapp, Everett Lane, Jim Brooks, Joshua Highbaugh, and Anthony Lane in this group here. Gary Huffines is about 2 seconds back, and he doesn't have any help at the moment. Another 2 seconds back to Thomas Holder, but he does have help from the lap car of Robert Amaral. And then we saw Justin Davis, he's about 6 seconds behind these guys here. No help at the moment after spinning on pit road. Bit of an issue, looks like potentially for Dean Wilkinson as he comes down and comes out about 20 seconds behind our leaders right now without any drafting help. Bob Fitzgerald comes down pit road to make his stop, and then you see some of the penalty cars of Charles Johnson and David Fashholtz further on back. So Todd Merkel is going to lead this race, and we'll see if the 8 and now the 24 have enough momentum to catch back up to these guys and see how big of a pack this will form at the head of this race. It looks like it's going to probably be about at least 15 cars or so by the time it's all sorted out.
Yeah, the 55, he had that problem before we had our cautions. I don't know if he blew a motor or what happened there. He came down, made a pit stop a couple laps before. But the 88, I believe, gained 20 positions on that pit stop. That is insane. He was riding, I believe, the second to last car in this pack when they all came to pit stops, came with that last group, and now he's sitting in third. It's remarkable what he can do. Is he's going to go around the 94 here to say, hey, fellas, I'm going for the lead.
Yeah, the 94 makes the move to the high side, and he's going to get shuffled out by the 88. We're going to go 4 wide here, try not to bounce off of each other into turn 1 and 2. It settles out, but that was a sketchy moment there as the 94 and the 8 try to go side by side with a car to the inside and the outside of them. No harm, no foul. We'll settle back into 2 wide racing here with 20 laps to go. And about 12 cars here in this lean pack. Also, looks like Jim Brooks is catching here with the help of the lap car of Doug Webb. And I think, who else is that? Is that the 71? Yeah, the 71 and the 25. So they are lap cars at the tail end of this pack. So as it catches up, that is the top 13 now in this lead group. And the 88 of Gabe Butler's trying to make it happen on the high side with a couple teammates lined up behind him. The 2 of Todd Merkel leads a lap and has the 83 of Jack Walls, the 71 of Eric Laurie, and 16 of Cody Nagels behind him.
Yeah, definitely good news for that 51. Hopefully the 71 and those 2 lap cars, they can stay with this pack. That would really help the 51 on his chances of running. You see him back there. Hopefully they can hang with this pack, but good run here for Todd Merkel. Only ran a handful of races this year. Up there on the point, followed by the 83 and the 071. So These guys getting ready to start making a final decisions on who they're going to run with and how they're going to make their moves. Boom. Where you want to be? You want to be on the inside or you want to be on the outside here so far from what you've seen?
I think it's definitely more gives you more options to be in the high lane. Obviously, the 88 and the 8 are trying to move as far forward as they can. If you can be the lead car on that inside lane, that is obviously probably the best spot to be. But knowing that that outside lane, as long as they have good help, should be able to push ahead and get that car to the lead. So definitely, I would say, yeah, being in the inside lane as much as you can, or at the lead of it, and then as you fall back, if you can find a spot to jump out to the high side and then shuffle back out to the lead, that's probably where I would think be the best spot. I mean, there's still a lot of time with 18 laps to go. I mean, everyone all the way back to Jim Brooks, about a second off our leaders, but in this pack, I think still has a chance to win this race. For sure. So 17 as they cross the stripe, though. So yeah, time's running out, but there's still plenty of it left.
Yeah, and speaking of time, I'm going to put you on the spot once again. Do we keep the streak alive? Every single Sunday night race this season has went into overtime. Do we see an overtime tonight? I'm thinking yes, just because I point back to the 88. He went as furthest as he could on that last run, knowing of how the season races have went this year so far. Boom. Do we go to overtime or we're at Talladega, and do we just end it at 75?
We'll see. Obviously, we already had a Talladega race with a overtime finish, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, right now it seems pretty quiet. Obviously, we got through a set of green flag pit cycles here, I mean, yes, the intensity is ramping up, but it does seem like these guys are racing pretty hard. Obviously, we had a couple moments there that didn't bring out yellows, and a couple side-by-side, pinballing, but nothing too crazy. I don't know. I'm leaning towards, I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm leaning towards seeing that this race might go to the end here. But yeah, 16 laps to go. And I guess obviously, Brandon, you've already called that. You think it might be another green white checkered, which for our track record, has been 100% so far this season. So I definitely don't blame you there.
Well, when it comes to Talladega, this is my really sleeper race. Atlanta is you really got to have a lot of things go your way at Atlanta. And the same thing with iRacing Superspeedway. The bump is so crazy in 2 and 4, and you got the pit road, and Talladega is the one where I risk my chance. I maybe put my car where it shouldn't be because this is the one in your opportunity where it just can be your best chance to win compared to all the others. If you're in the back or lower in points, and you want to try to sneak a win, Talladega has just always been the one where I feel the underdog can really succeed here. So when it comes to those overtimes and these guys get up there and want to make that move, chaos happens. And just will it be on the white flag or will it be the couple laps before?
Yeah, we'll always have to wait and see, but that third lane now started to form with 24 of Everett Lane and the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. They've got some help from the lap car of Charles Johnson, who's trying to put himself in the lucky dog position. He's battling the car to his inside as they're side by side. Him and Doug Webb are battling for the lucky dog position. So as of right now, it looks like the 9 car has it, but they will trade that back and forth quite a bit here. And we'll see. The 9's going to make some pretty good progress there. The 24 and the 94. 24 is going to get ahead. Is he going to jump all the way to the bottom? No, he's going to stay in the middle lane and get the help from Gabe Butler here as Maxwell Caldwell and Charles Johnson are going to be pushed to the lead of that outside line all the way around the top. And the 2 and the 83 are just kind of sitting there fairly quietly doing what they can to push that bottom lane forward and now promote the 24 to the lead ahead of them.
Yeah, speaking of a big bounce back, shout out to the 52. He's running 9th up there on, I believe it's 4th car on that outside lane. Took a big hit earlier in this race. Got a little bit of damage there on the back of the race car, but not slowing it down one bit. Having a good run tonight with right there around Hayden Davis. So those guys putting together a complete race so far.
Good pushes down the back straightaway. The 88 is going to get down ahead of the 24, and the 94 is going to try and squeeze ahead of the 8. Not going to make it work, and they're going to have to try and regroup and get another good push as the 8 and the 714 in the middle lane are working together. Cody Nagels is there too. Maxwell Caldwell jumps down to the middle lane as that outside lane dissipates its momentum, and we are back to mostly 2x2. The 52 is going to be strung out to dry with no drafting help there. And we will go back to double file action here with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, man, how are these guys? How do you beat the 88? I mean, he runs really, really good here, and not only that, but he's been on fire lately. Won the last 2 races, and now he's got a teammate behind him, a teammate to the outside of him, a teammate behind him. I mean, the list just goes on. So if you're Cody Nagels or him and Maxwell, you really got to get it amped up and maybe start to think, when do we start to up the pressure up here?
Yeah, definitely a good control right now of this race for the Team Bootnaka drivers, the 8, the 714 in the high lane, and the 88 and the 24. Then you've got all 3 of the 1320 Enterprise drivers. The 2's in the inside lane, and the 16 is outside of him with the 94 behind them. So if there's a hole for that 2 to get up, be sure that he's going to try and do that there and work with his teammates. The only one that's kind of really by his lonesome is really Jack Walls. Ooh, there's a little bit of a slide there through turns, or out of turn 2. The 16 gets a little sideways, but keeps on rolling here in the outside lane. Joshua Highbaugh is now leading that with Dale Rapp, Anthony Lane, and it looks like Gary Huffines in that third lane. So those are some of the Silver Fox Racing entries.
Yeah, we've seen that big move coming out of 2 there, and you brought this up earlier, Boom, with these cars with the temperatures trying to keep cool, and this is where it starts to come in effect. You see the second car on the outside lane there. He's sitting there. He's trying to clear the nose off to cool off a little bit, but the 16's getting such good runs because he's doing that. He's just gonna chop his nose off, and the race longer it goes, these guys aren't gonna lift. So these guys got to understand you can't leave that nose out there so much to try to cool it off, because these guys, they see the hole, they're gonna put their nose there, and next thing you know, you'll be turned around.
Yeah, and you see the 94 makes a move to the outside ahead of Cody Nagels. He wants to try and win this race, so he's got the push from the 16 and the 9 behind him, and the 8, the 714 still controlling the middle lane. The 88, the 24 still controlling the bottom as the 88 covers the middle there, and it gets a little tight. Ooh, the 52 is spinning further on back, and I think he's going to make contact with the inside wall potentially. Yes, the 52 and the 51 involved in that incident, and that's not going to draw a caution. So unfortunately, we are going to stay green, and that is a tough break for both Jim Brooks and for Dale Rapp.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything Jim Brooks can do. It looked like maybe the front right was broke there. He was trying, I believe, to get it to pit road, and just car was just broke. But we're gonna jump back here to the front of the field, and it's gonna be the 88, and the 8 leading that outside lane, and um, these guys right here, they seen it. They started to get linked up, and 16 and the 94 back behind. That is actually the first guy a lap down, the 714. He is running for position if a caution does come out to get his lap back, so he's going to be aggressive also. But we talked about with trying to clear that nose off. How patient is the 16 and the 94 going to be behind him with them runs opening up? As we're going to come to 8 to go.
Yeah, we saw them try to make that move to the high side, and unfortunately just didn't have enough momentum there. Obviously, there's quite a few more cars in the bottom lane for sure, and more in the middle lane at the moment, but they couldn't quite get that third lane to work for them, so they're just kind of settling out here now. But I think they know that their time is starting to run out. Obviously, it helps that the 16 and 94 do have 2 teammates there nose to tail, and it looks like they're going to back up just a little bit. If you can back up and get some space to the car in front of you, sometimes you can generate a really big run together and try to take that to the high side and take that momentum forward. But we'll see when they make their move. I'm guaranteeing it's not a question of if, but when, and trying to see what they can do to go ahead and get back up to this front and try to win this race.
Yeah, if I was those guys, I would maybe think about doing it now, because the 9 is definitely going to go with him. He's the second guy a lap down. He needs to get his lap back, and the guy he needs to get in front of is the guy right in front of Cody Nagels, the 714. So It's some pretty opportune time. As you can see, these guys probably not pushing that much. They don't want to overheat their cars. They know they're running 2x2 and a lot of teammates around them, so maybe sneak them and go ahead and take that front spot while they're just cruising.
Yeah, and one thing I'm realizing, and I want to highlight here, so we saw quite a bit of chaos on those green flag pit cycles here. But we saw the 24 make a little contact with Cody Nagels, and that pushed the 24 past his box and had to back up. So the fact that the 24 is up here with these leaders, I would say, is fairly impressive. A good recovery for him after what was a little bit of an incident on pit road, and they were able to get away okay. So not only that, but Everett Lane also was the slowest pit stop of anybody that took 2 tires. So going against him there, obviously the time for the pit stops is kind of a random number generator within a set range, but the 24 getting a slow stop, getting pushed through his box, and still managing to be up in the contention for the lead, getting the push from 3 of his teammates there. As that third lane, there it goes, it starts to form. The 16 and the 94 are going to see what they can do to move as far forward as they can. They're going to have the 9 car of Charles Johnson, and remember the 714, that teal and black car, in the middle, and obviously the bright blue and white Hydro Flask number 9. Those guys are racing for the lucky dog position to get a lap back should a caution come out, and we are making really good progress in the high lane. They're holding each other really tight, really close, really hard racing here with 5 laps to go.
The 94 is giving the 16 all the push he can handle. These guys are running good as you see them get real wide. The inside lane, hey, they're running so fast on those outside 2 lanes, the inside lane can't hang with them. We got some really good racing. The dude Conrad in the 8 jumps to the middle lane. A little bit getting a little tight there is the 714. He's really got to push dude Conrad because, like you said, he's racing the 9, and Charles Johnson is going to get tight as it looks like they're going to go back to double file.
Yeah, I think one of the unfortunate markers for the 16, you see that contact that he made off the nose with that 24 coming down pit road. That puts a big wrinkle in the nose of his car, and I think that's going to hurt him quite a bit as he tries to lead that lane. And when he gets to that high side, he can take a little bit of momentum, but unfortunately just can't hang with the rest of these drivers who do have clean cars. And there they go to the high lane once again. The 94 is going to go ahead of that 16, and the 9 is going to be the guy that pushes them towards the front, and see how much progress they can make. They still have 3 Team Boot Naka drivers in the middle lane ahead of them, and then Everett Lane in the bottom, trying to control this race. It'll be 3 laps to go as we cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, some nice 3 wide racing here. Gabe Butler going to drop to the inside lane here. Going to give a good run here for that. 714 got close. Thought we were going to have a little bit of contact, but looks like maybe the 81 back there going to try to join the outside lane. Is right there. That's what I'm talking about, the 714. That is so dangerous this late in the race. You can't expect Cody Nagels to lift with 3 to go or 2 to go when this race is coming down. He's leading the points right now, and you want a good finish. And as you lift that car up there just to try to cool your nose off or maybe follow a guy in front of you, when you come back down, somebody's there, and we're going to be 4 wide in the corner.
They're going to make it work. The 16 gets ahead of the 714. The 88 and the 8 still controlling the middle lane. The 24 and the 2 in the inside. And that is going to shuffle the 714 back a couple spots, but not too much harm for him, as obviously he's still lapped down. The 9 of Charles Johnson also a lap down, helping the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell. They've got Joshua Highbaugh and Anthony Lane up there, 2 of the Silver Fox Racing drivers in that high lane, making moves late in this race. 2 laps to go. The 88 continues to control the front with the 24 and the 8. And a lot of friends around him. Does the 94 and the 9 have enough? Does the 16 jump out, try to help his teammate? He's got a teammate to his inside as well. That's Todd Merkel in the 2. And we're going to try and get around this lap car 4 wide in the corner. And we do a really great job of that. And that 52 is going to be able to tag on to this lead pack here, as we are going to come around for the white flag.
Yeah, going to come to 1 to go. Hats off to the 52. I don't know how nervous he was as these guys were coming to him with 2 to go, as he held that outside good as we're going to be 3 wide. The inside lane falling off a little bit. Maxwell Caldwell got a really, really good run on the outside out there with Charles Johnson. The 101's got to let him back in as we come off turn 2 coming down the back stretch.
The 88 still has the advantage and the momentum in the middle lane. Does the 8 have enough to clear his teammate to get down to the bottom? Are they going to stay in the middle lane? For now, they will. The 88 is going to continue to stay with the 8 there. A little bit of pushing side by side between the 8 and the 94 as the 24 surges ahead. And they're going to try to go 4 wide. No, 3 wide through the tri-oval here. They're going to be beaten and banging further on back, but it is clear to the lead. No contention, no contest. The 24 wins it. And he is going to be backed up by his teammate Gabe Butler and Jack Walls in third.
What a finish. I think the 19 was the only person that went around back there. I believe everybody else came across the line straight and forward, and I would assume they were going to all be wadded up coming through the tri-oval there.
Yeah, definitely impressed to see the entirety of that group come down through the tri-oval there after all that beating and banging and still make it to the start-finish line. But yeah, Everett Lane there had a really great run tonight. He's going to get that victory. He was really making some great moves, battling it out with Cody Nagels earlier in the stages, working with Gabe Butler, working with pretty much all of his teammates at some point in time, and he grabs that win here tonight. And we're going to bring up the rest of those race results here and go through those before we get to our interviews. So that is going to be Everett Lane here. And actually, we have a difference between iRacing timing and scoring, and it's actually a pretty big difference. So we're going to double check on these results. Everett Lane is shown as your winner here in that number 24 for Team Bootnaka. Then Todd Merkel in the 2 is shown just 52 thousandths of a second behind Everett Lane in second place. iRacing Live Timing, our SDK, shows him in 5th place. So we'll get that sorted out and make sure we know exactly who we'll be bringing up for those interviews. But unofficially on the screen there, you see Todd Merkel, second place in that number 2 car. Gabe Butler in the 88, a top 3 for him. Jack Walls in the 83 finishing 4th. Dude Conrad in the 8 machine is going to finish 5th. Maxwell Caldwell, after the great run on the high side, wasn't able to get enough momentum to get far enough forward. He's going to come home in the 6th position tonight. Joshua Highball, a valiant effort on the high side towards the later stages of that race, and he's going to come home in a solid top 10 finish. Eric Laurie, another one of the Team Bootnaka Esports drivers there in the 8th position. And then another Silver Fox Racing driver, Anthony Lane, in the 9th position. Cody Nagels there in the number 16, again working with Todd Merkel and Maxwell Caldwell. Had a really great night. Obviously caught up in a little bit of the incident towards the back of that lead pack, but still a top 10 and a solid finish for him tonight. We'll go back to the cousins, Hayden Davis and Justin Davis there in the 11th and 12th positions. Charles Johnson there, first car 1 lap down. He does edge out Doug Webb at the line to get that first spot 1 lap down. Doug Webb again will be 14th place. Then Gary Huffines also for Silver Fox Racing gets trapped a lap down. David Fashholtz there trapped a lap down, as well as Bob Fitzgerald and Dale Rapp in 18th. And then the last couple drivers here of your results. Thomas Holder there, 1 lap down. Dean Wilkinson, 1 lap down as well. Robert Amaral, a lap down. And then Jim Brooks and Guile Brooks, a little bit early retirements for both of those guys, unfortunately. So 10 laps and 15 laps down. Not that they were hoping to have. But we are going to see if we can figure all this out exactly. We don't have a full confirmation just yet. We're waiting for official word, so we'll just stall here for a moment and get ready for that update here. So, yeah, interesting that
the top 3 is correct.
Okay.
Boom. I think we're getting confirmed that it should be the 24, the 2, and the 88. Is that what we have also?
I believe so. So as the updates come, the results on your screen, I believe, are correct. Regardless, we'll bring Gabe Butler up here anyway. He'll be either in the second or the third position, but as we get those results sorted out. But Gabe, definitely a solid effort for you guys tonight. You guys were able to really control quite a bit of the later stages of that race. We saw you guys mixing it up in just about every lane, trying to get everyone to the front and hold on to that lead there.
Yeah, that last part of the race was a lot of fun. There was a lot of beating and banging and fighting for position, and just a really good team effort overall tonight. And guys did a great job. A tremendous push there by Dude. I know he was burning up, and great win by Everett. He needed that, so it was an awesome job by all the guys tonight.
Yeah, heck of a run, but I want to bounce back to that last pit stop. You were running around, I think, second or last car in that lead lap or the lead pack there, last in line. I thought you were saving fuel, but once that all cycled out, I think you gained 19, 18 positions on that. How were you able to do that?
I just had a really good pit stop and just kind of nailed it pretty much. But I was saving fuel because I know the guys. There was only like 5 or 6 of us, I think, that might have stayed out an extra lap. So I know those guys that went a lap ahead of us, they were probably going to be really close unless they were in the pack. So I was saving like crazy, and I think I was only 0.3 of a gallon to the good at the end there. So yeah, just had a real good last pit stop, and I think maybe it was some other guys messing up versus me doing a good job pitting. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we saw you pass would look like, I mean, 6 to 8 cars maybe coming down pit road on that entry there, which was very impressive to hit your marks like that and not make any contact with anybody on pit road. But we were surprised we saw you so far back there, just kind of hanging out and saving fuel. I know that's not typically, your team MO. Obviously, there were quite a few of your teammates running up at the front of the pack at that time. But what was I know you kind of talked about fuel saving, but what was kind of the mindset there with trying to be at the back of the pack and saving fuel? Did you guys think that you were going to be tight on fuel towards the end?
Oh, I did for sure. And the other guys didn't mention it during the race, so they must have been all right, I guess. But there was an incident. I can't when I was at the back end there. There was a huge checkup, and I almost lost the pack. And if it wasn't for Eric, man, I think I might have lost the pack. He dropped back immediately and got me back on the tail end of the pack there. I can't remember what lap it was, but that's what I say, man. It's all about your teammates. It's if you ain't nothing without your teammates, and like I said, I got to give a lot of credit to guys that don't have teammates or maybe just one teammate or something like that. It's so difficult to go against a group of 4, 5, 6 guys. So hats off to them.
Definitely a solid finish tonight for you and the team. Obviously, Everett Lane up there at the front for tonight's race, and you guys are able to control most of the the final stages there. But we'll roll that red carpet there for Gabe Butler and give you any opportunities for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give for that third place finish tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to Area 51 and all the admins, of course. It was a really good race tonight, very aggressive, but good, hard, clean racing, I think. And you guys up in the booth, as usual, Boomer, Brandon, you guys do a fantastic job of Green White Checker TV. Can't wait to go back and look at this one. And all the guys that we ran with tonight in Team Boot Knocker, man. We had a blast. We did a good job, I thought. And maybe we can get some of these other guys some wins too now that Ever got one. And of course, all the drivers tonight and everybody that was watching it there in YouTube land.
All right, well, we appreciate it, Gabe. Congratulations again on that third place finish for you tonight, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you again real soon.
All right, guys, take care. Thanks.
Alrighty, so we can confirm the positions at the end here. So some of the iRacing timing and scoring got a little bit messed up, so that's why you saw at the end there the different position for Todd Merkel, but he actually came in the second spot for tonight in that number 2 for 1320 Racing Enterprises. Todd, definitely a great night for you and some of your teammates there trying to mix it up and be at the front of the pack for pretty much most of the race. Yeah, let's hear from you. How did it feel from your vantage point behind the driver's seat?
Tonight was kind of interesting. I walked in the door about 1 minute before qualifying started. I did not make one practice lap. I went out and qualified and raced. And it was kind of interesting night tonight. The way the fuel was looking, and even that last pit stop we all made for fuel made it really, really tight. There's no way you could lead that pack for the rest of that race. You'd run out of gas. So we were playing games with that. After we crossed the start-finish line, I ran out of gas in turn 2. So that was it for me. That was all I had. I could not lead another lap.
Yeah, we just spoke with Gabe, and he said that the same thing. It was definitely close, and when you see like that, does that push your mindset back that I want to finish and get points and make it to the end, or are you still I'm 100% on the throttle the whole way?
No, I was trying to manage my fuel there. I mean, when somebody made an effort to get by, I led for quite a while, and I used up an awful lot of fuel doing it. So when somebody took a shot at me, I'd let them have it and just tried to make sure I was going to make it to the end. Good thing, too.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a part-time schedule for you, Todd, but it's got to feel good to, like you said, jump in here with a couple seconds to spare for the session and get in here and have a pretty solid night. Definitely wish we could see you more, and obviously understand that there's a lot of stuff going on that can't bring you to the track every week, but it's got to be a good feeling even on a part-time schedule to get a really good result like this.
Oh, I love running with the Area 51 boys. They were my first league when I started with iRacing years and years ago, a little bit even before COVID. And yeah, it's kind of like a home league for me.
Well, it's definitely a good home to have here at Area 51. A lot of good people, yourself included, and glad to see you up there running strong even in the part-time schedule. But we'll roll that red carpet out for you now and give you any opportunities for any thanks or shout-outs for that second place finish tonight.
Well, I want to thank my teammates at 1320 Enterprises. Cody and Maxwell are really, really good partners to race with. And then, of course, I always got to throw one out to Ross Racing Pistons, who I use in my real race car, Liberty's Gears, who I use in my real race car, and Driven Lubricants and Oils and so forth. I use them in the real race car. They help me out over there, so I run their decals on this thing, too.
Awesome. Well, definitely wishing you the best of luck in both your sim racing career and your real world racing career, and hopefully get a chance to talk to you again soon, Todd.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure to see you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Todd. Alrighty. So we've got a winner and another new winner. First time winner for this season. Everett Lane comes home. P1 in that number 24 Chevrolet. Everett, how did it feel to finally get that victory here in 2025 Season 2?
Feels really good, Boomer. It's been a long time coming. I've been having some bad luck here on Sunday nights over here at Area 51, and told myself tonight when I came in here I needed to really work hard to try to get a win.
Yeah, you definitely executed tonight. We seen a little bit of a hiccup there from you on pit road with a little bit of an incident. And how do you keep your composure to know, man, I made a mistake on the final pit stop, and to be able to keep your mind straight and bounce back?
Well, I didn't keep my composure too much. I got bumped in the back by Cody when we came in for that last pit stop, and it shoved me through my stall a little bit. And I said something to him in radio chat, but I was wrong. He was right. I thought he had P1, but he said he had P4. He was in front of me. But we made contact on the concrete. I was kind of surprised about that. But I had to regroup from that, had to rebuild, get good runs on the high side with my teammates and work myself back to the front.
Yeah, no, we saw that obviously live in the race, and then we noticed you still were able to hang out with that lead pack, obviously a little bit further on back. And when you actually pit last, you were there weren't a lot of people that pit. It looked like you took maybe 2 right side tires on that last pit stop, but you were the slowest stop. Obviously, that's all randomly generated through iRacing, but it was the slowest stop for anyone who took 2 tires. And then obviously getting pushed through your box a little bit there, a little bit of the hiccup with that 16. To us, like in the booth, like that was incredible to see. I'm curious from your vantage point as that's happening. Are you immediately worrying like, oh no, about being able to hang on to this lead draft, or was there any concerns with being able to stay up with those leaders?
Yeah, I definitely thought I had lost the lead pack after all that went on pit road, but I came out, got a good run back there, and went right to the second lane. There were some cars on that bottom lane, so I wanted to do some side drafting and try to make up some spots. And then I seen Dude up there, my teammate from the Boot Knockers. So I yelled at him to move up to the second lane, and then we drove up and picked up Gabe, and then the 3 of us drove right up to the front. Had some close 4-wide racing there when we were going to the front, but it was good racing by everybody tonight. A lot of close racing. Good teamwork there tonight by the Boot Knockers to get us up there and get me a win. I'm really happy to have a win tonight. The Chevy 24 ran really fast tonight, so really happy for Sunday night.
Yeah, coming into tonight with 61 starts and 4 wins. Now you're going to increase that total to 5. So I guess that officially makes you an ace here on the super speedways here in Area 51. It's got to be a good feeling.
Oh, absolutely a good feeling. I love running these super speedways. That's what I feast on. Daytona is my favorite track, but Talladega is my second favorite track, and then comes in Atlanta. Yeah, we run fast on these super speedways. There's a good group of super speedway drivers over here at Area 51, and I enjoy racing over here with these guys.
Definitely a lot of fun that we get to have watching you guys do it as well from the booth, and we'll give you that final opportunity for rolling that red carpet out. Any thanks or shoutouts that you'd like to give for your first win here in 2025 Season 2?
Yeah, first shutout's going to go to Todd Merkel. He pushed me there across the start-finish line, give me that checkered flag. If I didn't have him on my bumper, I don't think I would have got there. He was doing some really good pushing there. I yelled to him over the radio, hey, let's push. So he pushed me all the way to the end. I want to thank all the Boot Knockers, Gabe, Dude, Thomas, Doug, David, all those guys who good teammates to have out here on these super speedways. We get it done. We were working really well there on those last few laps. Got the 24 win tonight.
Good deal. Well, congratulations to you, Everett, and hopefully you find some time to celebrate that tonight.
All right. Thank you guys up there in the booth. You guys do a great job over here at Area 51 on your broadcast also.
We appreciate that, Everett. You have a good night, buddy.
All right. Good night, fellas.
Alrighty, Brandon. So, officially, there it'll be, the 24 with the win. Second place to Todd Merkel and third place to Gabe Butler. And a solid race that we got to see here through the end of the night. Some good 3-wide action that we saw, and we did go green to the finish from the final green flag pit stop.
Yeah, some very good racing there at the end. We're starting to see mid-season racing. Guys know who's around them, and you start to build some competitiveness a little bit more against your fellow drivers, and we've seen it tonight. Some guys aren't going to lift or give them the space, and that's when the racing really becomes good. Is when guys are just racing 100%, and whatever happens, and just thankful to be broadcasting in a league where these dudes give it 100%. So heck of a race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, really great 3-wide action. Obviously, the 48-foot wide track here at Talladega makes it easier to, do those 3-wide activities more so than at Daytona and especially at Atlanta. But we saw, some really, really great racing throughout the night here. 3-wide for quite a bit of it. But yeah, always a pleasure to get to come back here to Talladega, one of our kind of bread and butter tracks that we've always mentioned. Obviously, the league started out at just Daytona and Talladega. Now we've added iRacing Superspeedway in Atlanta that have the drafting style of racing as well. And yeah, good fifth race of the season. 14 races here in this calendar for the mid 2025 season here. We are going to have another off week, so we'll be off next week, and then we'll be back on August 3rd, back again at Daytona. So be sure to join us in 2 weeks' time. We're going to take another week off after that, and then be back again here at Talladega on August 17th, and then we won't have another off week for the rest of the season. So we got a couple off weeks here in the middle of the summer, but we've got plenty of racing in store. Again, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the 6th race of the season there at Daytona, so you won't want to miss that action on August 3rd here on Green, White, Checkered TV. Checking in on the Friday schedule, same thing, just 2 days sooner. So we'll have a week off, and then we'll go to Daytona on August 1st, have a week off, and then a week later we'll be at Talladega on August 15th. So again, same schedule, just 2 days ahead of the Sunday series. Same tracks, same time, just a different night, and lots of fun. The only difference obviously being that they're racing the trucks instead of the Xfinity cars. And then we'll also check in on the schedule for the Tuesday night series as well. So in 2 days' time, they're going to be at Chicagoland in Illinois there. So they're going to have lots of fun racing those Indy cars in that state. They're going to go. They're going to also have an off week next week, and then they'll be back August 5th for Watkins Glen, another off week, and then back at Auto Club on August 19th. So again, some off weeks mixed in here and there, but we'll hopefully get a chance to see you guys back out here in 2 weeks' time here on Sunday, and then Fridays and Tuesdays, and all the excitement all week long for Area 51. But yeah, Brandon, before we let everyone go here, what's your biggest takeaway from tonight's events, and what are you looking forward to in the next one?
Yeah, just these guys getting a little bit of off week. So who's gonna come back focused is next week is no slouch. So you gotta be able to bounce back. And or the next track we go to, Daytona, it's a lot tighter than this race was, and you can't afford to make mistakes that some drivers made tonight. And who's gonna have their head on a swivel and ready to bounce back.
Definitely. Well, hopefully everybody gets a chance to enjoy the off week here. Drivers get a little bit of rest and or get some practice in and get ready for the next event. So again, 2 weeks. Come back on Sunday nights. We'll be here. Appreciate. I promised Gael Brooks that he wouldn't have to broadcast next Friday or next Sunday if he would take over the Friday show for this week. And he laughed and forgot that it was an off week. So definitely appreciative to give him that opportunity to not have to work, implying that I would take it over for him. But obviously we'll have the off week there. But always want to say a big shout out to Gael and everything that he does here for us at Green, White, Checkered TV and for Area 51, for all the admins, all the drivers. Definitely a lot of fun to be a part of. Appreciate getting to be here for myself, Boomer Logan, and my buddy in the booth, Brandon Briggs. We had a lot of fun bringing these races to you, and hopefully you guys enjoy them. I know a lot of drivers come back and watch these after the fact, so we appreciate you guys and all that support that you give here to Green, White, Checkered TV, and obviously to the league at Area 51. So with that, again, we will wish you a wonderful off week. We'll see you back in 2 weeks' time, and hope you have a great couple weeks, and you take care.